Most elderly people do not die from disease. They die from the same wrong meals repeated for 30 years. Every day, millions of people walk into the supermarket with a very familiar feeling, buying a few more things to complete the meals for the week. But when looking back at the receipt, an uncomfortable truth begins to appear very slowly. Food costs rise, while health does not. We are living in an era with more choices than ever before. But because of that, the body is being nourished the wrong way in a silence that lasts for many years. The truth is that the human body does not need hundreds of things on the shelf. It only needs a few correct things, repeated every day. So today, we will talk about the 5 simplest foods, not flashy, not expensive, but able to preserve the foundation of health even as life becomes more and more costly. Because at some point, what matters most is no longer how good the food tastes, but whether the body is still strong enough to stand up on its own each morning. 1. Eggs. There are foods that have accompanied human history for so long that they become too familiar, and because of that, we forget their true value. Eggs are one of them. In times of war, food shortage, and even periods of economic hardship, eggs were often among the few sources of nutrition still remaining in the kitchens of many families. Not because they were special, but because they were simple, available, inexpensive, yet strong enough to carry people through their weakest days. Today, when supermarkets are filled with choices and promises of health grow more expensive, modern science returns to confirm something very old. Eggs remain one of the most complete sources of nutrition the body can access each day. A single average egg provides about 6 grams of complete protein, with all essential amino acids needed to maintain and repair muscle. It also contains choline, a nutrient important for memory and brain function, something many people only truly begin to value after the age of 50, when they realize clarity is no longer as certain as before. Alongside that are B vitamins and essential minerals for the nervous system, immunity, and energy metabolism, all contained within a simple natural structure that science, no matter how advanced, still finds difficult to fully reproduce artificially. After the age of 50, muscle begins to decline faster each year, even when you do not clearly feel it. And muscle loss is not only a matter of strength, it is the ability to stand up on your own, to walk on your own, to carry groceries home, or to continue living independently without relying on anyone. What is frightening is that this process does not happen in a single day. It happens very slowly. During the years, you still think everything is fine. That is why the body does not need the most complex solutions. It needs a source of protein that is steady, gentle, and sustainable enough to repeat every day. And eggs, in a very quiet way, meet that need exactly. Soft, easy to digest, not placing pressure on a stomach that becomes more sensitive with age. No elaborate preparation required, yet still enough nutrition to preserve the foundation of strength needed for the seemingly ordinary tasks of daily life. 2 eggs in the morning may not create an immediate miracle. You will not feel younger overnight. No major change happens after a single simple meal. But after hundreds of mornings repeated like that, the body begins to accumulate a very quiet form of stability. Enough protein to slow muscle loss, enough nutrients to support memory, enough energy to keep moving through the years ahead without weakening too soon. Small things, when seen in each separate day, may seem unimportant, but when looked back on after many years, they become the boundary between aging quickly and still having enough strength to live in the way you desire. Eggs are not flashy. They do not create a special feeling. They do not draw attention when placed in a shopping cart. Yet history has preserved them, Science has confirmed them, and time continues to prove their value in a very long silence. So sometimes, the foundation of health does not begin with grand choices, but with a very small action. Opening the refrigerator in the morning and knowing that there is still a source of nutrition simple enough, yet loyal enough to accompany you through one more day. And among the countless foods in this world, perhaps few express that quiet endurance more clearly than an egg. Eggs do not make you younger, but without them, old age arrives faster than you think. I once met a 72-year-old man. He was not seriously ill, no frightening diagnosis. He only had a very familiar habit, eating carelessly for many years. One morning, he sat on the sofa and stood up to get a glass of water, just standing up, but his body could not rise. He forced a smile and joked, "Maybe my legs are updating their software a bit slowly." It sounds funny. But the doctor spoke very directly. That was not fatigue. It was muscle loss, something that happens silently when the body is not nourished enough for a long time. From that day on, he did not change anything grand. He only began again with very small things, eating enough protein, eating more regularly, things that could have been done decades earlier. And he told me a sentence that was both gentle and painful. Now I am no longer afraid of aging. I am only afraid of not being able to stand up on my own. Subscribe to the channel if you want to step into old age with a little more calm. 2. Fresh vegetables. There is something very strange in the way people view food. We often pay attention to what makes us full immediately, but forget what quietly keeps the body healthy for many years. Fresh vegetables belong to the second group. They do not create the same strong satisfaction as meat, do not provide fast energy like carbohydrates, and do not make a meal appealing at first glance. Yet, in the nutritional history of humanity, from the mustard greens of Asia to the gardens of cabbage, carrots, and onions in Europe, vegetables have always been the quiet foundation that helps the body endure over long periods of time. Many people grow old not because of age, but because of 20 years without eating enough vegetables. If you lack vegetables in one meal, you hardly notice anything. If you lack them for a few days, the body still functions normally, but when that absence lasts for many weeks, very small changes begin to appear. Digestion slows, fatigue arrives earlier, skin looks less vibrant, and the immune system no longer responds as strongly as before. No clear pain occurs, only a silent weakening that accumulates over time, slow enough to escape attention, yet long enough to affect the years ahead. Modern science shows that adults need about 25 to 30 grams of fiber each day, yet most people do not reach even that minimum level. Leafy vegetables such as spinach, kale, lettuce, or bok choy provide fiber and folate that support digestion, blood, and brain function. Hearty vegetables like cabbage, carrots, onions, cauliflower, or zucchini deliver vitamin C, beta-carotene, and anti-inflammatory compounds that help protect cells over time. Familiar raw vegetables such as cucumbers, tomatoes, bell peppers, or celery add water, potassium, and micronutrients that help stabilize blood pressure. None of them creates an immediate difference, but when combined daily, they form a very resilient biological layer of protection around the body. What matters is that the body does not weaken in a single day. It weakens. During the years, you still believe you are healthy. So the role of vegetables is not in how you feel today, but in the results many years later. As age increases, the body no longer tolerates overly heavy meals as it once did. Vegetables act like a biological brake, lightening the overall meal, making digestion easier, and reducing pressure on the cardiovascular system as well as metabolism. This is not an effect visible in one day, but a benefit that becomes clear only when compared across many years of living differently. Even so, the biggest problem with vegetables is not their nutrition, but how we buy and use them. Many families waste money not because vegetables are expensive, but because they are forgotten until they spoil. The solution is not to buy more, but to buy more intelligently. Combine a small amount of quick-use leafy greens with cabbage, carrots, onions, or squash to use gradually, and add cucumbers or tomatoes for lighter meals. When this balance appears, vegetables are no longer something easily thrown away, but become a natural part of the rhythm of daily life. Preparation methods also determine whether this habit can last long enough to matter. Quickly stir-fried with garlic, gently steamed, cooked into a light soup, or simply served alongside the main meal. These very simple approaches are what allow the habit to be repeated for many years. In long-term nutrition, what matters is not the most perfect meal, but the habit that can be sustained the longest. The body rarely weakens because of a single wrong decision. It weakens because of small right things that were ignored long enough. Fresh vegetables belong exactly in that group. Not eating vegetables today will not create any clear consequence. But not eating vegetables for many years, the body quietly pays the price with lower energy, weaker immunity, and slightly faster aging. Only slightly, yet lasting through the rest of life. One plate of vegetables each day does not make life special, but it does something far more important. It keeps the body from declining too early, keeps the years ahead strong enough to walk, to enjoy meals, and to remain beside the people you love. When we are young, we eat according to preference. When we grow older, we begin to eat according to what the body truly needs. And sometimes, the difference between those two ways of living lies only in a very simple plate of vegetables on the table each day. Without vegetables, you can still feel full. But old age arrives sooner than you think. When was the last time you truly ate a full plate of vegetables? Yesterday, last week? Or can you no longer clearly remember? 3. Bananas. Bananas are among the cheapest fruits in almost every supermarket. You can walk past them many times without a thought. Because the price is so low, it nearly becomes something taken for granted. But the true value of bananas has never been in the number printed on the price tag. In many cultures, bananas have always been considered nature's fast food. No cooking, no preparation, just peel and eat. That simplicity may seem ordinary, yet for a body moving past the age of 50, it becomes a very large advantage. When eating is no longer as easy as before, a food that is soft, easy to chew, easy to digest, and gentle on the stomach can sometimes be far more valuable than elaborate dishes. Biologically, an average banana provides about 400 milligrams of potassium, an important mineral that helps the heart maintain a stable rhythm and supports blood pressure control. It also offers gentle energy, enough to begin the morning or fill the space between two meals without creating heaviness. For many older adults with sensitive digestion, a ripe banana can even feel more comfortable than many other foods. But what matters more is not the isolated nutrition of a single banana, but the habit repeated over time. Health is rarely decided by rare, large choices. It is shaped by very small choices repeated each day for many years. A perfect breakfast may sometimes matter less than simply having something light enough each morning for the body to begin the day without being left empty. Have you ever noticed that tired days often begin simply because there is nothing easy ready to eat? And sometimes, that very small gap leads to choices that are more rushed, sweeter, more expensive, yet worse for health. Bananas exist precisely to fill that gap. Cheap, convenient, requiring no thought, yet nutritious enough to keep the body from slipping into a mild energy deficit. The quiet fatigue many people assume comes from age, when sometimes it is simply from skipping meals for too long. Even the way bananas are purchased reflects a small principle of long-term health. Perfection is not required, only consistency. A few still green for the coming days, a few already ripe for today. When bananas become too ripe, they are not truly finished. Just slice and freeze them, and you have another option for smoothies, for a light snack, or simply a cool, gentle food for a body that has passed through many years. What matters is not that bananas can perform anything miraculous. They do not reverse time, do not change age, and do not turn an ordinary day into something special. But in many quiet mornings that pass unnoticed, a small banana is exactly what helps the body begin the day a little lighter, a little steadier. And sometimes, when those small differences repeat long enough, the final result becomes very different. If you look back at the habits that keep people healthy over many years, you will see they are rarely complex. They are often small, inexpensive, simple, and easily overlooked. Bananas belong precisely in that group. So the difference between a body that tires quickly and a body that still has enough energy to move through a new day rarely comes from big decisions. It comes from small choices repeated for a very long time, very quietly. Bananas are cheaper than sweets, cheaper than candy, but over time, they can save your heart after 60. And sometimes the most important question is not what you eat on a special day, but on each ordinary morning, what you begin the day with. In youth, we fear lacking money, but after the age of 60, the most frightening thing is no longer money. It is the moment when you still have money in your account, but the body is no longer strong enough to take care of itself. The most expensive cost of old age is not in the supermarket. It is in the hospital, in medicine, in days of having to depend on others just to do very small things that you once did without thinking. And the most painful truth is that most of those moments do not begin with a major illness. They begin very quietly, from the same wrong meals repeated every day for many years when we still believe there is time. Health rarely collapses suddenly. It leaves little by little until the day you realize you can no longer return. So sometimes, the smartest way to save money in old age is not to buy cheaper at the supermarket, but to keep the body from paying the highest price. Many years later. 4. Chicken. There is a very ordinary question that is rarely spoken aloud. Is a meal still a meal without a main dish? For many families, the answer is almost no. Not because of elaborate habits, but because the body always needs a real source of protein to feel nourished. And among many familiar choices, chicken gradually becomes the most natural balance. Familiar enough to appear every day, light enough not to feel heavy, yet still nutritious enough to keep the body steady through the years. Biologically, protein from chicken plays a key role in maintaining muscle mass, something especially important after the age of 50, when muscle loss begins to accelerate without many people realizing it. Muscle loss is not only weakness, it is slower walking, difficulty rising from a chair, fatigue arriving earlier in tasks that once felt ordinary. And what matters is that this process does not happen in a single day. It happens very slowly. During the years we still believe we are healthy. That is why the body at this stage does not need overly heavy meals, but steady nourishment repeated a little each day. Chicken, lighter than red meat and easier to digest, becomes a natural choice for that rhythm of life. Not too high in fat, not creating heaviness after eating, yet still providing enough nutritional foundation for the body to maintain the strength needed for daily living. But the true value of chicken is not only in its nutritional content. It lies in a very quiet role within the family meal. A pot of boiled chicken shredded and eaten with vegetables. A piece of pan-seared chicken with hot rice. A gentle bowl of chicken porridge in the evening. These dishes are not luxurious, not special, even very ordinary. Yet that ordinary repetition over many years creates a sense of stability that both body and spirit need. Sometimes, what keeps a person strong is not the most elaborate meal, but the feeling that the meal is still complete as before. Even the way chicken is bought and used reflects a very real principle of long-term living. Saving does not lie in the lowest price, but in avoiding waste. A chicken thigh is often more tender, less likely to dry out, and easier to turn into several different meals. Today, it may be grilled or pan-seared. Tomorrow, it can be shredded and eaten with vegetables. The next meal becomes a light porridge. When one food can accompany many meals, its true cost becomes far lower than that of ready-made dishes that only seem convenient. By contrast, waste often comes from very small things. Overcooking until chicken breast becomes dry and is thrown away. Buying too much without portioning it. Thawing once and not using it all. Those details that seem insignificant, when repeated long enough, quietly turn saving into a form of expense. There is a truth rarely mentioned. The body does not need major changes to become healthier. It needs meals that are real enough, repeated long enough. Chicken is not a luxurious food. It does not create a special feeling when placed in a shopping cart. Yet in many ordinary kitchens, it still quietly keeps the rhythm of the meal, preserving the familiar warmth that is sometimes what helps people continue through years of change. And sometimes, what nourishes strength does not come only from protein or nutrients. It comes from the feeling that life still holds meals as complete as before. Chicken is not the most expensive food, but without it, you may easily buy things you do not truly need. And what about you? In your most recent meals, do you still feel that familiar sense of completeness? 5. Fish. If there is one group of foods that almost always appears in the world's longest living communities, it is fish. Not because fish is luxurious, nor because of a special flavor, but because of the very quiet things inside it. Omega-3 helps the brain maintain clarity longer, helps the heart keep a steadier rhythm through the years, and helps the body resist the silent inflammation that often increases with age. These changes do not create an immediate feeling. You will not see a difference after a single meal. But after many years of repetition, those small things create a very large distance between health and decline. People who eat fish 2 to 3 times per week have a 30% lower risk of cardiovascular disease. Not every fish is the same. In the diets of long-living people, a few familiar types of fish appear repeatedly over many years. Salmon is rich in omega-3, helping protect memory, cardiovascular health, and reduce inflammation, the 3 biggest concerns after age 50. Sardines are small but nutrient-dense, providing omega-3 natural calcium from soft bones and vitamin D that helps maintain bone density with age. Mackerel supports lowering bad cholesterol and improving blood circulation, linked to a lower risk of heart disease in many nutrition studies. Tuna provides lean protein that helps preserve muscle, something the body gradually loses over time, while still offering benefits for the brain. Meanwhile, lighter white fish such as cod or tilapia are easy to digest and gentle on the stomach, suitable when the digestive system is no longer as strong as before. The benefit of fish does not lie in eating a large amount at once, but in the quiet repetition from week to week. Just 2 to 3 fish meals per week are enough to create a long-term difference for the heart, the brain, and the body's endurance. No complexity required. A simple steamed fish, a light braised fish, or a basic grilled fish can sometimes be a quiet way to keep health more stable through the years. Fish rarely creates a strong impression. Not loud, not showy. Yet in many quiet kitchens around the world, meals with fish continue to repeat silently across decades of a human life. And sometimes, longevity is not decided by rare major changes, but by very small habits kept long enough. Health almost never changes in a single day, but it always changes through what we repeat over many years. One fish meal does not make you live longer immediately, but many years of eating fish regularly may quietly preserve additional years you have not yet realized you need. At some point, what matters most is no longer how delicious the food tastes, but whether the body is still strong enough to sit at the table with the people you love. And perhaps the most important question is not whether you like eating fish, but this: in the years ahead, how long do you want to preserve your health? If today you had to choose one familiar type of fish to begin that habit again, which would you choose? In the end, what matters most may not lie in a list of foods, but in a very quiet question. With each passing day, is your body being nourished or slowly neglected? Health rarely disappears in a single large moment. It leaves very slowly, silently, until we realize it is already too late. But health is also built in the same way. From very small things, repeated long enough. A simple meal, a quiet habit, a choice that seems unimportant, yet walks with you through many years of life. At some point, what matters most is no longer how delicious the food is, but whether the body is still strong enough to sit down at the table with the people you love. No one can turn back time, but almost everyone is still in time to begin again from today's meal. If this video makes you pause for a few seconds to think about your health, you can stay here, not because of fear, but because of the wish to keep ordinary things a little longer. And I only want to ask you very gently, among the 5 foods today, which one will you begin to keep from tomorrow? I read them all, and perhaps we will meet again on another very ordinary morning.